Lead Prosper has added a new feature that allows you to extract a value from a buyer's API response and return it to the supplier. If a buyer returns a value in their API response, such as a redirect URL, you can now map that URL to a field in the supplier's API specs and customize your response to return that value to the supplier. This can be done with any data that the supplier would like returned. A redirect URL is just the example that we'll be using here. Before getting started, it is important to note that this feature is only available for exclusive leads. If you're using a distribution type such as Send to All, this feature will not work. To begin, scroll down to Campaign Settings. Here, you have two options in a direct post campaign. You can pass back a custom value, or you can include your buyer's information in the API response. The second option is only helpful if you are the supplier, as you don't want to reveal the sales price and the identity of the end buyer to a third party. Toggle the Pass Data from your buyer's API response back to the Supplier button to On. In the Key section, you'll enter the field name that you'll map the data to. For this example, we'll enter Redirect URL. Once you enter the key, you should see it as a field in the sample API response preview to the right. The next step is to map and populate the new key's value from the buyer side. Click Save and then edit the buyer you want to return the response from. This setting is done on an individual buyer level, meaning that if you want to return a value from multiple buyers, you will need to repeat this step for each buyer. Scroll to the bottom of the buyer setup and you will see a section called Customize Supplier API Response. Select the value type as Post Response. This will tell the system where in the buyer response to pull the value from. The next step is to open up the Test Buyer tool and send a test lead. You should see a redirect URL in your test response. Copy and paste this test response into the response parser, which is linked at the top of the response mapping section in the buyer setup. Once you paste the test response into the response parser, click on Redirect URL on the right side. This will pull up the buyer response keys. Copy the key that says Use in Post Response Mapping and paste that response key into the buyer setup as the value for Redirect URL. Next, click Save. Send another test lead to ensure that the redirect URL value comes through. And that's all. Thanks for watching.